G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens for another week. We're taking a deep dive today into halfback and 5'8", two pretty crucial positions heading into season 2025, Timbo.
Root, vital positions and a little spanner in the works. I reckon we're going to throw at people today as well. I know for myself and my squad, I was pretty set on my starting combination, but it has been shaken up big time. So we'll get into that shortly.
Yeah, we'll get to that very quickly, but it is an enormous needle mover, if true, which I believe it is. So we'll see how all that goes. A couple of announcements before we do get stuck into it. Kanguru Hats, they're going to be available for about another 24 hours. You can see them all on our three glorious melons. So the link for that is in the description. If you are going over to Vegas, make sure you get your orders in quickly because they will be going out in the next 24 hours to make sure you get them before you head over to Sin City, which is very exciting. Mate, congratulations, an official member of the Kanguru Tour.
Thank you, mate. I've strived for this for a fair amount of time now, and to finally be inducted into the tour means a lot. And in the words of a famous podcast host, good gear, these hats, good gear.
They are good gear. They weren't cheap to make, so they are fantastic. I absolutely love them. Speaking of Vegas, you're not a debutant to Vegas by any means, but sometimes I talk to people, and especially, a lot of people are asking me about Las Vegas and whatnot at the moment. I've got to a point where I can eyeball someone and go, you're a Las Vegas person. We had a couple of tradies in here the other day, and I was looking at one of them. I go, you kind of look like a Las Vegas guy. And he lifted up his shorts and he had a Las Vegas tattoo on his leg.
Oh,
and I thought,
God.
I've picked you like a dirty nose, my friend. And you look like a Las Vegas guy to me.
Yeah, look, there's a bit of a Vegas vibe. I love the lights, the camera, the action, and I love a responsible punt. Not a big pokies guy, but I will say that last time I was there, I found a mechanical horse race track, and they run around this, looks like Shartin race course, and you bet on all of them. They've got all their odds and that. So it's not like virtual horse racing like trackside, but it's actually, you watch them around, it is so much fun. I also, not a big pokies guy. I did find a deal or no deal machine, which took my fancy just because I felt like I was playing deal or no deal. So look, you wonder how they lure suckers like me in. Anyway, if you're over in Vegas, gamble responsibly.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to a pokey, the old Penrith piano. I'll be sinking my fangs into it, so brace yourself for that. We have also got in the Roo Crew this week, Sunday night, I am launching my Roo Crew SuperCoach group. So it's going to be a $10 entry. You have to be in the Roo Crew Patreon group to buy the code. That'll be $10. Every cent goes back to you guys, and Uncle Roo is going to throw a little bit of prize money on top. So that's going to be good fun. Make sure you're there in the Roo Crew. That link's in the description as well. There's a couple of links in the fucking description, so brace yourselves. Kathmandu, how are you?
I'm really good, guys. I'm loving the hat. It's nice. It's comfortable. It's I think it goes with a lot of different things. I'm not trying to sell it. I don't make commission. I just think it's a great purchase.
Yeah, it definitely goes with my 3 T-shirts I own. So. And our 6 combined.
I know.
So we're flying.
Wonder how many will make it to Vegas.
Mate, we won't be short on them, don't worry. All right. Pleasantries, are we all good? Or what's going on with SC Playbook? Talk to me.
All happening. Podcast, I'd say tonight. We're pre-recording just before team list drop. So team list, if you want them, go to the Roo podcast, Guru podcast. They'll be on the SC Playbook podcast. Got the Spy on tonight. Spy doing his team reveal. Matty Ryan, the Socceroos goalkeeper, SuperCoach, tragic. His team has just dropped online as well. And mate, we've got our subscription package on site as well. Dropped our first subscriber-only podcast last week, doing that one, looking at the super pods, the sub 5%ers to stick your teeth into. So, yeah, she's all happening.
Can I ask, where does Matty Ryan's SuperCoach skills sit in the scale of SuperCoach skills?
He goes all right. He's been a player for a fair while, and the last few years he's done bits and pieces with SC Playbook and sort of engaged in all the content, and being the ultimate professional that he is, legend of a fella, extremely competitive, shock when it's the Socceroos goalkeeper, and you just see him every year just grinding away to better rank. I think he was top couple of maybe 1 or 2 or 3,000 or something last year. So he's got a bit of a look in his eye, and I think he's worked it out, Matty.
Now, you mentioned the Spy there. I completely forgot to tell you about this. I got a message from the Spy at 7:56 p.m. on Saturday night.
Oh, dear.
And this is just no context whatsoever. I hadn't spoken to him via text in September. Got a message just saying, love you, Roo. And I thought, have I missed some context here? Is
No.
there something going on here? I literally said, am I missing some context here? He said, nah, just having some beers / whiskey and footy and thought it was a worthy message. And I thought, how good is that? You're in luck. I love you too, big dog.
He just spreads love. He's just a good man, the Spy, and all I can say is thank God it was at 7:56 or whatever and not 3 a.m. because I reckon there was some more damage done on Saturday night.
A big one for the boy.
He gave it a nudge, yeah.
He loves a nudge. He's a
loves
good
a
man.
nudge.
Shout out to you, Spy. Love you dearly, my friend. Spy, any sniffet of Vegas?
Nah, he's
Cap?
got a relatively fresh bub, so yeah, but we'll. I reckon he's got Rue to 2026 written all over him.
He does. Fuck, that's terrifying. All right, let's get into halfbacks and 5'8". Now, Timmy, I might sort of hand over to you to explain how we're going to go through today. I think you're best man for the job, so take us away.
Yep. So we're going to start with halfbacks. Relatively short and sharp. I personally don't think, and I think looking at the selection across the board of halfbacks in SuperCoach, that there are a lot of options, but there are some key decisions to make, Roo. And the big ones are between Nathan Cleary at 811K, Nicho Hynes at 735K. I think they're the big two. Ownership would suggest that certainly Nathan Cleary is the big one. But what we're going to throw in today to really, really throw a spanner in the works is Thomas Duffy, the young Cowboy. We're under the impression that what we think will be the starting halfback for the Cowboys in round 1. There's a lot to play out across the remainder of the preseason. We'll see the round 1 team list, but to our knowledge, we think that he's going to be the starting halfback for the Cowboys. Probably not goal kicking, likely to go to Scott Drinkwater, but that's how we're feeling.
Yeah, look, I've, like you guys at home, I have seen all the reports, and I'll be honest with you, I sort of went, I don't know if I buy into that. Jake Clifford's had surgery, I don't know. But, I actually spoke to a couple of guys a little bit in the know on the weekend, and they seem to think that Tom Duffy will be the halfback. So, once again, guys, we will just wait for absolute confirmation on team list. But, mate, at the moment, I'm going to run with thinking he is the halfback at basement price. It frees up a lot. As you said, he is a goal kicker. Goal kicked at like 73%, which it's wild. Like when I saw 73%, well, that's all right. Then I looked at the actual stats. It's actually not that great compared to other NRL goal kickers. Like Drinky's at like 79 or something. I think he's about 6% ahead. So I don't think he'll goal kick, but we spoke about this on Bloke 2 weeks ago. He absolutely killed it in Q Cup last year. He had about 30 try assists. The Cowboys, who are a very good attacking side, I think they'll lean into that more and more. I can't see him not being at least relevant, and I kind of think there's a world where you could play him some weeks in a good matchup.
And he's 198K, mate. He's bottom dollar. And I look at the ownerships. Currently selected, Nathan Cleary's at 46%. You've got Sandon Smith. He's dual halfback hooker. We've spoken about him in the hooker position. We'll touch on him today, but I think we've said all we need to about Sandon. He's at 53%. What we're going to do is, because there are some just quite obvious options in my eyes at halfback, 5'8" is the more troublesome position. So all the dual halfback 5'8s, we're going to touch on them in the 5'8 slot. But Roo, where we're at right now, and again, it is the definition of a spanner in the works, but it's, all right, do you go Nathan Cleary and Nicho Hynes, meaning you potentially pass up Tom Duffy at bottom dollar in a good attacking outfit, big risk? Do you go with Nicho Hynes and Duffy, or Cleary and Duffy? Do you look at it that way? The alternate option is, do you use your flex position? We've said all preseason about, all right, go 3-gun fullbacks or 2-gun fullbacks and Isaiah Iongi. There's now a realistic option where, whilst I still favour the Iongi and fullback options, if you really want Hines and Cleary, and there'll be people out there who do, where you could potentially use Duffy as your third halfback and use him there. Probably not going to be the popular option, but I think to kick off the halfback slot, mate, let's talk about the big one in Cleary v Hines and Duffy. What are our plans for starters? Are you thinking, well, I know you're not that keen on Hines as it is, so does that mean you're looking at a Cleary and Duffy combo?
Yeah, for sure. Cleary and Duffy for me. I'm just too scared not to have Cleary. And you have a look at it. Like, he's only 80K more expensive than Hines as well, which I think there's some decent value in Nathan Cleary at the moment. Hines, mate, I get where people are coming from, but fuck, like, I think you really are sort of going in blind. Like, I have people tell me, another preseason, he'll be better with Trindle. Like, yeah, I think from a football point of view, they will be better, but I'm not convinced that means he'll find more SuperCoach points. I think you have a sample size of an entire season where literally you take out the games that Trindle wasn't there. The bloke averaged like 120 in those games. With Trindle, it's like 60. Like I personally think there is a world where you could lose money on Hynes here at 730K. I don't think he is. I don't think you've got any evidence that can suggest to me that like he's about to turn a corner and go back to where he was or go up a little bit. I think there's a serious chance that he loses money. I just don't have any evidence to suggest it's going to turn around. What do you think?
You want some evidence? NRL PHYSIO. You know that spells, Roo?
I do. Fafazio. Trimbapoline.
Firstly, so where I sit on it is that if Duffy starts round one, I wanted to go Hynes and Cleary, and I didn't even really overthink that position. I was like, boom, they're the standout. I want them both. I also think they're both undervalued to start the season. Now I'm thinking, Duffy's. I need to stop saying Duffy. It's not Matt Duffy. It's Tom Duffy.
He's the Duff man.
Yes, the Duff man. Duffy. I just think he's too good a cheapie in a key position. As you said, you don't necessarily have to play him each week. You can just sit him there, and there'll be weeks where as a halfback he's going to score some decent points and have the bigger scores, get some attacking stats. There'll probably be weeks where he has a 20 and a 30, but he should be making some good coin, and potentially, because of what we've seen statistically speaking from Queensland Cup, looks like he's a ball runner, plenty of try assists. He could make a ton of cash.
Yeah.
So I'm probably leaning to going with one of them and Duffy. I'm narrowly leaning towards Cleary, but I think there's a real case. And NRL Physio threw out a tweet a couple of weeks back, and it was saying that plenty of focus on Nicho Hynes' SuperCoach performances with and without Braden Trindle in 2024, but what about injury? He averaged 91 over his first 8 games, 6 of those being with Trindle last year. That dropped to 56 after an ongoing calf strain and ankle surgery. Basically saying that people sat there, ourselves included, saying that there's a drop-off with Trindle. And I know you'll mention eye test and like Trindle taking a bit more control and whatnot. But, you know, he was hampered by an injury, and of all injuries, a calf injury. Like, not as explosive, not as quick. So there is reason to say that maybe, like in the first 8 games last year, he averaged 91 points. The 2 seasons prior, Nicho Hynes averaged 95 and 86 points compared to Cleary's 89 and 80. And then the big factor in it all, Roo, aside from the starting price and that is a fair bit cheaper, it's just their draws to start the year. Now, Nicho round 1 against Penrith in Vegas, that's as hard as it gets. But he then goes the Cowboys, the Bunnies, we don't know what they're going to deliver. The Doggies, that's at Shark Park. The Raiders, Manly. I quite like that draw to start the year outside of certainly the Penrith game. Cleary is coming back from an off-season shoulder surgery, I believe it is. He goes the Sharks in Vegas, the Roosters, the Storm down in Melbourne, the Bunnies away from home. I believe it's away from home. That's a very tough draw. So I don't think it's as clear-cut as you think it is.
Yeah, fair shout. And maybe he was carrying an injury. I just think, to me, as you said, I'm going to say eye test. It was very evident they weren't gelling together. Hynes has played the last few years as being the main guy. They play Hynes ball and it will beat 14 teams in this competition. I think they've addressed it's probably not going to beat the top teams in this competition. You know, as you said, in the first 9 rounds, he averaged 95. Sweet. The 2 weeks that Trindle wasn't there in that, he scored 160 and 97. Like, I think that 95 is a little bit of a false narrative realistically. I don't know. Maybe it was an injury, but I think it was pretty evident that he wasn't getting as much ball. Maybe he wasn't getting as much ball because of an injury, potentially. But one thing I know about Trindle is that he's a ball-dominant half. He always has been. I said this before a ball was kicked last season, and then the longer the season went, Trindle was still the ball-dominant half, and Hynes wasn't getting as much. I think it's a pretty simple equation. Hynes, when he is the main guy and the show's built around him, he is absolutely elite, and there's no denying that. And it was great to have Matt Moylan next to him who would sit on the left edge and say, when you need me, I'm here. Trindle just doesn't play like that. And I think the Sharks are a better side when Trindle is leading the side and Hynes can just sort of pop up here and there. But I think it just means that you're going to see less SuperCoach points from him.
And look, you might be right. I think the other factors, and I do feel like I'm trying to talk myself into Hynes, but firstly, he's 75, 80K cheaper, which is quite handy, you know, for the overall cap.
Yep.
So the other concern, and do you have any issue with the fact that we do know that Nico was playing with a calf injury at the back end of last year and for a lot of last year. Nathan, to our knowledge, I think Nico's fit, fine. We'll get a look in trials. Well, we probably won't in trials, to be fair, coming up. But see what he looks like. Nathan Cleary, he's in doubt for round 1 in Vegas. I think we all expect him to play, right? Like, he'll be doing everything he can to be there. But he's coming off shoulder surgery. So if Nico's fully fit, Cleary's maybe he's 90, 95. I don't know. But there's doubt around him. How does that impact you?
Not too much, to be honest with you. Like, if Cleary isn't named round 1, maybe it changes things, but I'd be very surprised if he's not named round 1. He then gets 2 weeks after that as well. I can't see myself starting without Nath, mate. And even if he was to not be named in round 1, I think I'd sort of be okay.
Well, you'd pick him?
I reckon there's every chance I do, yeah.
Knowing that it gives him 2 weeks to come, near enough 3 weeks before the game to come good.
To come good, yeah.
That's huge.
It's 1 week. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's going to be the 1 week.
1 week with no guarantee to play round 2, though.
Sure, but I think we'll have a pretty good idea by then what Nath is doing. I think we'll be able to find that out. So, we'll wait and see when the time comes, but I think Nath is a very evident better option than Nicho Hynes. You know what I personally think Nath's probably in for a little bit of an uptick this year, realistically, he's always been the main ball player, but now you put Blaze in there over Jerome. I can just see Nath taking more control. So I think Nath is the obvious choice. If you want to have Hines as your second halfback, sure, but if Tom Duffy's available, I think you're potentially leaving $400K out there, realistically. I think the idea, and I'm not saying you're leaning into this, I personally think if people are going with the option of playing Nicho Hynes over one of these star fullbacks at flex, I genuinely think you've lost your mind, is my thoughts on it. There's just no evidence to back up that Hines is going to turn things around and become what he was a few years ago once again.
Yeah, and I said I'm not doing that. I think there will be some people who lean into it. I think the argument would be people that do believe that Nicho will return to his best this year, keeping in mind it's only a position he took up in recent years, halfback. We all have the Sharks as premiership contenders this year, so we think they're going to fly. He averaged 95 points in 2023, 86 in 2022. So unlike a lot of the fullbacks in, Tommy Turbo, Latrell Mitchell, Kalen Ponga, certainly James Tedesco, they're probably at their right price or there enough. If you think Nicho's going to go back to a 95 average or even an 86, well, at his current price, he's undervalued. Would be the argument, I think.
Yeah, and I understand that argument. I just don't know how people can watch week to week how Cronulla play and come up with that conclusion.
I'll tell you what, if you do, and lots of teams will start now with Iongi and Duffy, if he does start for the Cowboys, shit, that frees up a lot of money.
Yeah, bloody oath it does. It frees up a heap of coin.
Prior to Duffy, who's your backup half?
Mate, I sort of hadn't settled on anyone yet. I was looking at just...
Well, you had the Sandon option, to be fair.
I had Sandon. I was sort of leaning towards him probably being that spot. But yeah, I was far from set in stone on it. I was still very iffy on it. Is there anything else to touch on with those two, mate, or do you think we've...
No, I don't think so, mate.
So gun to head right now, let's say Tom Duffy is available, Cleary or Hines?
Gun to head Cleary.
Yeah.
But there's bugger all in it. There really is.
Okay, interesting. All right, let's move to some other halfbacks. As we said, guys, there's not too many we're going to focus on all that heavily. We'll go through a few. Jerome Hughes, mate, 805K. My thoughts on Hughesy are very simple. Last year was the absolute year of years for Hughesy. Year of years for Hughesy. You obviously had Cam Munster was injured. I think Harry Grant was a little bit quiet by his standards. He won a Dally M medal. He averaged 82. If you take out his last two scores, which were just enormous blow Brisbane out of the park, his average goes back down to 73, just when you take out those two sort of junk time games where they blew teams apart. So I think 805K, I think you're paying overs for Jerome Hughes personally. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's overs. There's also, I think the buy's like round 4 for them, which is a little bit of a spanner in the works as well.
I think it's round 2 for Melbourne.
Round 2. Yeah. Round 2 for Melbourne. I just think, to your point of his big scores at the end of the season, I don't think that has skewed his average as such, but he's not going to get those games and those easy beat teams early in the year. We know that. It never happens. So he's a non-goal kicker. When you're trying to pick him, who it is hard to see him increasing too much on that average. If he does, maybe he gets an 82 average to an 85 or a 90 if he goes bonkers. But as a non-goal kicker, I'm just not sure. Started last year, averaged 71.6 points across the first 5 games of the season. Yeah, I think he's one to target before the origin period, hopefully at a bit of a discount, but I will probably be happy to wait on him until that point.
Yeah, you have a look last year and, his first 4 games, he had 2 scores under 50, which is a lot of these guys in these skilled positions. Start of the season's low scoring and whatnot. But yeah, I just think 800 for Jerome Hughes is too much. Talking about Mitch Moses, mate, we assume, it sounds like it's pretty safe that Zach Lomax will goal kick. That all but rules Mitch Moses out of contention for me.
Yeah, I just don't think I can touch him without goal kicking. You're losing, I haven't crunched the exact numbers, but 10 to 12 points per game off his season average. Now, playing career best footy, so he can probably make that up in just how good he is playing and what we saw in the rep scene, both Australia and New South Wales last year. But if he increases his average without goal kicking, I think that lands him on about his average of last season. Yeah, I'm just not that keen.
Yeah. Ches was the one I skipped, 646K, halfback only. Once again, guys, you can free up 150K there. I think he's got a reasonably good start to the season, the Manly Seagulls, but I think I just can't go past Cleary once again.
Yeah, it's a great draw, but 646K, as you said, it's another 90 odd to get to Nico Hines. Not that much actually to get to Nathan Cleary. He's not goal kicking. I think when we say this time and time again with Daly Cherry Evans, but if anything happens to Ruben Garrick and he starts goal kicking, everything changes.
Yeah.
But while he's not, I just don't see him getting near Cleary or Hines.
Honestly, as you guys know, I'm not big on Camp Hines. I think I would rather see you guys go Hines than those other 3 guys we just mentioned. If you want to go someone different to Cleary, I think you are better off to hope Hines gets back to where he was, then goes those guys. So, yeah, halfback guys, I think it just is what it is this year, Timbo. I think it's a slam dunk of 1 of 3 or 2 of 3 guys.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that would probably change it a little bit is if Duffy doesn't get named.
Yep.
And then that'll bring into contention a couple of these cheaper halfback options if you're looking to go gun and cheapy. We'll get to a few of those shortly, but I see it as being not a simple position because anyone like me who's keen on Hines has to then go, is it him or Cleary, or do you go him and Cleary and no Duffy, or what you do? But in terms of options, I do feel it's limited.
Yeah. Lewis Dodd's probably the only other one that we'll give a little shout out to. I don't know what to expect at the moment. I don't know.
And not that it's happened, but to your credit, you sort of called it pretty early, but it wouldn't shock me to see Humphrey starting there round 1.
Yeah.
He's a really highly regarded younger talent. Probably haven't seen a lot of him in the first grade, but even over at Manly when they were sort of bringing him through as like a hooker, having played most of his footy in the halves. Daly Cherry Evans barely missed a game last year. Luke Brooks barely missed a game. There just wasn't an opportunity there. The couple of opportunities he did get, he played really good. It might have even been 1, but he killed it. So wouldn't shock me if Humphreys is there round 1. If Humphreys does get named there round 1, he's another who's halfback only. That'd throw another cat amongst the pigeons. But I think probably from the Bunnies halves between Dodd and Humphreys, just not keen on either of them.
Yeah, and obviously, guys, we're recording on Tuesday afternoon. Team lists are about to drop in an hour, so you guys will know trial teams this weekend by the time you're listening to this. We'll wait and see, but I would love to see them start with Humphreys, if I'm honest, but I'm pretty confident the guy will be Dodd.
And the team will probably get named, it'll be named in an hour, but there's going to be no Cody Walker because he's in doubt, so I assume the halves will probably be Dodd and Humphreys, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Which is going to tell us nothing.
Give or take a Bud Sullivan jumping out of the ground, but... I think that's sort of how we'll look. Mate, halfback, is there anyone else that you want to touch on there, you want to bring up? There's obviously a lot of duels that we'll get to in the 5'8 chart.
There's genuinely not. There's to be a watch on Ethan Sanders if he can get a start at some point, but I don't see him starting round 1. Played well in the trial the other night. Isaiah Katoa is someone who, not that I was keen on him, but I see value in him at 390K. But now when you throw certainly Duffy in the mix, you're not going to go Katoa over Duffy at almost 200K cheaper sort of thing. So, yeah, I think it's I think it's pretty straight in the options there, and looking at the selections and the players we've mentioned, I think people agree. Even Nico Hynes is only at 17% ownership, which quite excites me because it's Sandon at 52, Cleary at 46. You've got a few 5'8" half jewels in there like Luai, who's at 24, but I would imagine the vast majority of those people have him in the 5'8" slot. So, mate, I reckon we move to 5'8".
Last guy I just want to ask you about, I thought Ethan Sanders was very impressive on the weekend for the Raiders. But what I saw on the weekend, it impressed me, but I think it just pushed my thoughts even further that I just think he's a genuine halfback. I can't see them pairing him and Fogarty up together. Have your thoughts changed on that at all?
No,
or?
I don't think so. And I think just the side that was named was pretty telling. Like Sanders he was quality the other night against Penrith, but Ricky knew his quality. Ricky signed him. Like he knew it was coming through, and what he did the other night wouldn't have shocked him one bit. So if he had any intention of playing him in Vegas and starting him in particular, he wouldn't have been in that game. So we know with Ricky, he's loyal to his current crop and he's pretty patient with his young fellas as well, especially if they don't quite have the size or the bulk on them yet. So Sanders will get a chance at some point this year. Chevy Stewart, he'll get chances as well, but I don't think he'll be in Vegas.
I'll tell you what, if something happens throughout the year that we get an injury to Fogarty like we did last year, Sanders comes in, 244K, he'll be a huge talking point.
Yeah, lock and load.
Yeah, very excited. Okay, we move on to 5'8". My God, get a life jacket. All right. Do you want to start at the top of 5'8"?
Yeah, start at the top.
Big old JC, 700K, dual position 5'8" /fullback. I'll be honest with you, mate. I actually did a draft episode with the weekly rubdown last night. The boys are very high on Jaden Campbell. I had a bit of a closer look at his scores. I had him last year and I didn't realise how good he actually went last year. Can still be up and down. We have our concerns around the Titans. He does have the round 1 bye. That's not the end of the world to me. I'm not looking at Jaden Campbell at 700K. It's a lot of bicky. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not, and there's a few reasons behind that. Firstly, the round 1 bye is less than ideal. Not the end of the world, but when you're paying up that much money for someone, I think you have to take injury history into consideration. Missed a patch through the middle of the year there. Granted, he did play the back end of the year, and unfortunately, there wasn't any of those games off the bench in limited minutes that would have seen him discounted. Like he did average 79 minutes per game last season. But he does have a couple of things in his favour, and that's he has massive upside. He's a gun attacker, a really good Supercoach player. So goal kicker, and he's in a position that there's not too many 5'8" that stand out. I'm finding this position very troublesome at the moment. You could do heaps worse than take a flyer on and go with him from round 2. I suppose the other thing as well, for anyone now looking like yourself at going Duffy and Duffy and Cleary, it's going to free up cash to spend at that 5'8" slot. So
yeah, 700K all of a sudden probably isn't crazy when you chuck a Duffy.
No, it's
side.
not.
Yeah.
And I just suppose the other, and maybe this is playing a little bit too cautious, but I just don't know what's happening with their spine. Like, I don't think Kinney's budging from fullback. Between Foran and Brimpson, and I know Carter Gordon, he's under an injury cloud now, but there are so many options. It's just if he ended up back at 14, I mean, it'd be a certain trade. I'm not saying that'll happen, but it could.
Yeah, no. I don't think you're playing too safe there. I think it is something you need to take into consideration. So, yeah, JC, no bueno from us. Good God, Tomato Martin is high up this list. 663K. I didn't think he was overly impressive in the trial the other night. I thought Metcalf was definitely the pick of the bunch by distance. Tanner Boyd at the club. I don't think anyone's paying 660K for Tomato, right?
I don't think so. Especially where there is genuine job concern with him and Tanner Boyd. I don't think there's going to be a lot between them. I'd start Tomato, but if he has 1 or 2 bad, let's say he does start and he plays 1 or 2 bad games, Tanner Boyd will be in.
Yeah, I don't think Tomato is going to pay 660 for Tomato. Let's move to Dill Brown, mate. Dual position, absolute gold for this season, 651K. I guess the big thing, it's weird with Dill Brown, mate, like when Mitch Moses first got ruled out last year with injury, I went, Dill Brown's going to be the guy. How's good? Now I'm sitting there going, Dill Brown interests me because Mitch Moses is back. And I think that's when Dill Brown plays his best footy. 650 feels like there is a little bit of value there. I feel like he is a 70-point guy when Mitch Moses is in the side. I do think that a lot of ball will probably go to the right-hand side this year via Mitch Moses, but Dill Brown is still a supreme player in our competition. I'm not looking at him. I'm looking to go in other directions. Any interest for you on Dill Brown?
There is. And it's a bit of deja vu from last year where we're going through all these 5'8 options. I didn't know which way to move. And then I think the nearer it got to round one, I just went, stuff it. Who's the most reliable in this position? It's Dylan Brown. And that hasn't changed one bit. 650K to start the season, dual half at 5'8", which is very handy. So Mitch Moses back. 8 games with Moses last year. He averaged 62.37. Without him, 68.69. So not a substantial difference. He averaged 67 points last year. The 2 years prior, he averaged 76 and 74. I think I had him all year last year, set and forget him.
Yeah, I kind of think you did
yeah.
too. Yeah.
And it was fine because it was a position where I didn't miss out on anything, give or outside of possibly a purple patch from Jaden Campbell at the back end of the year.
Yep.
He wasn't bad at all. He's ultra consistent. He just didn't have the big ones. He had 1 ton. It was really late in the year. I think it was against the Dragons. He got like 160.
Yeah.
And then, but outside of that, he scored under 50 on 3 occasions, his lowest being a score of 36, which for a 5'8" is hardly bad. You add in Parramatta, who decent draw to start the season, Moses back. Yeah, I don't mind him at all, and I'm very tempted to start with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't push back on anyone that wants to go with Dill Brown, especially as you said, mate, with Tom Duffy there and freeing up a bit of cash. I can 100% make sense of it, and just getting Dill Brown with Jewel is enormous, especially when you're going to have Duffy you're going to sell in.
And then
weeks.
The buy in round 8, prior to that, starts with Melbourne in Melbourne. That sucks. That's awful. But then he goes to Tigers, Doggies, Manly. Doggies and Manly, obviously tough enough, but not diabolical. Dragons, Raiders. Then he has the Tigers again. He has the Tigers twice in the first 7 rounds. So it's a pretty good draw. Not perfect, but there's some upside in it. So.
And, mate, you mentioned round 1 against Melbourne's not ideal. I'm willing to bet most of these 5'8s don't score overly well. Dill Brown will base that his way to one of the better scores, I reckon.
Exactly right. And put it this way, I do think you can just about set and forget Dill Brown again if you start with him. He's going to be a great target for people, especially going into that origin period. He's a Kiwi. He's not going to be impacted by that. So I think you can pretty confidently set and forget him because he's not going to average less than like 65. And I don't think there's a lot of other 5'8s who are going to, especially when you've got 2 slots, to say you have to pick me over him.
I'll tell you the other thing with Dill Brown too, like obviously the start of the season, Melbourne stuff, after that, it's all looking pretty good. I think it's a pretty good draw. He's playing for a contract until round 10.
Yeah.
He's trying to convince another club to sign him for 1 point something.
And
I'm warming.
Exactly. And put it this way, he's just safe. He's so safe. Like I said, I think there is value in at 67. Years prior, 76, 74. I think he can get back up toward that mark. Keep in mind how freaking young he is as well.
Yep.
He's only going to get better. So worst case, he holds value and you set and forget him. Best case, he becomes a 75, 80 averaging 5'8".
Yeah, for sure. 3K cheaper, we've got Matty Burton, 648K. I am not looking at Matt Burton. I don't quite know what to expect from Canterbury this year. I hope that it all stays together and they're flying, but Rugby League has taught me not to trust that. I want to see it before I look at Matty Burton. Thoughts?
Not in my team, not strongly on my radar, but I can see why people would. I do think the Dogs are building something special there at the moment. I think they can hopefully improve this year, but as you said, history also suggests that teams that come out of nowhere tend to regress the second year. And I hope that doesn't happen with the Dogs. I don't think it will, but it could. Lost his dual halfback 5'8", which is a tiny little spanner. 66-point average. When I first looked into him, I was like, just a bit inconsistent for my liking. Then I did some digging. Scored 50-plus in 18 of his 24 games last year, which is unreal.
Yep.
Even in his 66 average, it was a new-look Dogs side last year. Scored 15 in round 1. Then went 35 in round 3. So got those out of his game, and he was very good last year. Not for me, but I'm not going to knock anyone who wants to.
Yeah. Mate, next guy is Lockie Galvin, 624K. I had a 2-minute and 40-second conversation with Des on Friday afternoon, and he said 6 things, and I disagreed with every single one of the fucking 6. I thought it was like that clip where Paul Vorton's getting punked. I thought he was just saying things to annoy me. Desi, I can't make sense of anything he says, but he consistently beats me in SuperCoach and beats the vast majority of us. He's like the Cosmo Kramer of the SuperCoach world. He's starting with Galvin. He loves Galvin, and I thought he was pulling my leg. I can't make sense of it. I I think that Galvin, what he did last year was incredible. 624K. You're also contending with second-year syndrome. You got Luai coming in. I think he'll be the main guy, but I don't think he'll take a heap of ball off Galvin, but I don't think it means that Galvin will get more ball for me. So when you're talking about one of the greatest first individual seasons I think I've seen in quite some time, I just couldn't pay 624K for Galvin.
Another who will be a target at some point probably, but it's just the halves combination, right?
Yeah.
Firstly, there's all the hype around the Tigers, and that's exciting, but there's been hype around them in the past, and that hasn't worked out. So it's like, let's see. How does this combination gel together, him and Jerome Luai? He's, as you said, he's not going to get more ball than last year. I think he'll get less ball than last year. Like, even at times with Aiden Caesar and whoever else his other halves partners were at different stages last year, at 18, which is remarkable, he was like the dominant half. Not necessarily organising, but when it came to attacking territory, it was always get good quality ball to Galvin.
Yeah.
This year, that's going to be Jerome Luai, right?
Oh, mate, for sure. It wasn't for me. It wasn't like he was the dominant. He was the dominant
Exactly.
ball player. The whole game plan was just get the ball to Lockie and see what he can pull out of his ass.
And second-year syndrome is a concern. I don't think there'll be any because this kid's a freak. He'll play Origin probably in the next few years. But I just want to see the Tigers. I want to see this halves pairing. Even if they do kill it, I think it's going to take time to gel. It's not going to happen at the click of a finger. Not only like the fact that they're a new pairing, but just Luai's in a completely different role. He doesn't know the exact. He's done bits and pieces, being the dominant seven when Cleary's been out with Samoa, but I just need to see it first.
I think you also need to keep in mind, guys, like you've obviously got Luai arriving, who I think could take some ball off him. Appy's a dominant ball player. If Buller gets back to his best as well, like there could be he'll lose some SuperCoach points there too. So I don't know. Once again, I'm not going to fight with Desi because he always seems to pull it out of his ass, but not for me. The next guy I am very interested in, Cameron Munster, 609K. Cam Munster, I think this is going to be an incredibly important season for Cam Munster, mate. A lot of people telling me he's lost his Queensland jersey, he's lost his Kangaroos jersey. I don't think he has personally, but I do think that when he got injured last year, Tyron Wishart came in and I don't think the Melbourne Storm missed him. The man next to him got the Dahlia medal. They finished top 2, got all the way to the grand final, just fell short. He didn't get to play Origin, didn't play overly well in the grand final. We know Cam Munster for his big moments. Off the top of my head, mate, I can't think of a big moment in the last 12 months or so. I think Cam Munster at 609K is unreal value heading into this season. And I haven't got the exact numbers. I haven't crunched them, but you have a look at last year, injury-affected games. He had one against the Roosters. He scored 37. He had a 40-minute game against Parramatta where he scored 17. He had a 49-minute game against Parramatta again where he scored 32. So that's 3 games where he went sub-40. He still averaged 62. I'm seriously looking at he's got the round 2 bye, which is an enormous pain in the ass. I'm well aware of that. But I think there's a world where I could start with money.
Yeah, I mean, firstly addressing the Origin jersey thing, I know it's not your words, I've seen it as well, and especially off the back of how good Tommy did and has been over the last 12 months. But if Cameron Munster's fit, he's the number 6 for Queensland.
I agree.
It's as simple as that. Eye test. He's going to be the one with Cam Munster. I want to see him play a trial, which I don't know if he's going to do because he had off-season hip surgery, possibly double hip surgery. I could be making that up, but there was at least one hip getting surgery.
Yeah.
I just want to see him. Like, that's pretty serious, getting your freaking hips operated on for a bloke who requires on moving and bouncing around and doing all that.
Yep.
And especially in a team where he doesn't have to be his explosive best all the time because he's got Jerome Hughes and Harry Grant and Ryan Pappenhausen. He just needs to be a body there. If he's fully fit for round 1, he's a steal. Like, severe, heavily underpriced. 62 last year, the season price 71, before that 81, 74, 70. He's like 10 points underpriced if he's fit. So I think you just start with him. I just really want to see him play. I don't know if we're going to see him play a trial game. I am more inclined with that round 2 bye to just watch round 1, see how he goes. Wait till after the bye, pick him up round 4 before that first price rise if he looks the goods. But yeah, I'm concerned about injury in his body.
Mate, there has just been a little bit of breaking news, which I think will be of interest to you, not SuperCoach-wise, but just footy-wise. Mulatalo, 3-year deal, he's just re-signed with the Sharkies. That is enormous for them.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I don't know how the fuck they're keeping all these guys, but they are shaping up at the right time for a premiership.
That's huge.
Very exciting for the Sharkies. Okay, let's continue with the 5-8 scavenger hunt.
Just on, before you move on, they also have Penrith in round 3. It is at Amy Park in Melbourne, but just another case to, all right, see what he does in round 1, buy round 2, Penrith round 3, and then you work out, do I need him for the Dragons in round 4 or can I wait?
Yeah, very fair. Benny Hunt, 603K up there at the Broncos. Chance that Adam Reynolds could miss the start of the season. We'll wait and see how that all plays out. Just rumours going around. I don't know what's true, what's not. I just think there's other options I'd rather take than Benny Hunt. Thoughts?
I mean, he was arguably the most dominant ball player in the NRL last year. As
30
a
try assists. People don't realise.
Yeah.
Not going to get more than that.
And he always has a lot of try assists because he's a freaking gun.
Yeah.
But his game is just not conducive to SuperCoach scoring and misses quite a few tackles as well. Like, probably something we don't look at often enough where, you know, if you're missing 5-6 tackles a game, it's a lot of points off your
Stacks
average
up
compared to a good defensive player. He's not going to be the main attacking guy there. It is Reece Walsh. Brisbane's game plan is get Reece Walsh in space. Why wouldn't it be? He's a freak. I think Benny Hunt could have a massive year, could be the signing of the year, but I don't see how he improves on. Oh, he could improve a little bit, but I'm happy to watch.
Tom Dearden, 597K. We're not sure what's going to happen with their halves. We're hearing Tom Duffy obviously. I don't think it'll impact Tommy Dearden too much. If anything, it might give him a little bit of uptick. Not a guy I'm interested in. You looking at him at all, mate?
Not really. He's not unlike Ben Hunt, is he? Really good footballer, plenty of attacking ball, scores tries, sets them up. But again, I think we're comparing these halves. Munster sort of in class of his own, and as is Cody Walker, they're unbelievable attacking players. But just the goal kicking aspect probably eludes Tommy Dearden a little bit.
Yep.
His top SuperCoach average was last year, 61 points. The 2 years prior, 58. It was in a pretty red-hot Cowboys attacking outfit. The argument for Tommy Dearden would be is that he's getting clearly better every single year and he can improve this year. How much that means to his SuperCoach scoring, I don't know. I have my concerns around the Cowboys this year. Whether they make the 8 or not this year, I think their attack was pretty red-hot last season.
Yep.
Yeah, he won't let you down. But are you getting any value in him? I don't think so.
Completely agree on everything you said there. Jerome Luai, 5'8" halfback, 582K. Timmy, I think Jerome Luai is priced exactly at where he's going to sort of finish this season at. I think that people are getting a little bit carried away with when he played halfback, he averaged 70, 80, 100, whatever the fuck it was. Guys, he's going from the best system that's just about ever existed to the worst at the moment. He arrives there with a 5'8" next to him who loves to get his hands on the ball, a hooker that's very dominant as well. Jerome Luai, for all the shit people give him whatnot, I think he's a very selfless footballer. He'll just do whatever is best for the team. And I think that I don't think it's going to lead to a stack of SuperCoach points for him. I think he's priced at where he should be.
I'm interested. At this stage I'm not starting because like Lockie Galvin, Jerome Luai could be the eye test of all eye tests in the preseason because we haven't seen him at another club and without the people, the star cuddle around him. Does he regress because he's not in the best team in the competition? There's every chance that he does, yeah. But when he's taking the reins and controlling everything, he could go to a new level. We just don't know. So I can't wait to see a trial game for the Tigers and see how he performs. As I said, you look at I wrote in my analysis on the Tigers on the website yesterday that you can throw in all these stats with and without Cleary, and there's one that he averaged 70 in recent years without Nathan Cleary, which is awesome. But when he's changing clubs from the Premiers to the Wooden Spooners and changing positions and changing roles, you throw him out the door, I think. I
agree.
It's all eye test to me, and we haven't had that yet.
Yep, completely agree. I don't think it's the way to go. Blaze Salungi, 5'62", centre wing /5'8". Once again, I want to see Blaze in this system. More importantly, I want to see how he defends. I think you are opening yourself up for a potential disaster with Blaze, that if he struggles defensively, Penrith could move him on in the first few weeks potentially. So I'm not even considering Blaze. What do you think?
No, I'm not. He's an easy watch, right? We don't know what's going to happen. He for starters, Cleary is going to be so dominant in this team. He's going to get all the attacking ball that he wants. Talangi will get bits and pieces. And I just think, starts in Vegas. The job security is very poor. We don't know whether he'll start. Let's say he does start round one. There's 4 halves there who will be knocking the door down to play that spot. So there's upside. He could be a buy at some stage. The dual position's very handy. CT up 5'8", but not for me.
He's at about a 55-point average or something there. I'll tell you what, in the first few weeks, he could base that 55 because I think teams are going to really pepper him and test him out there.
Got a little interesting one for you with your beloved base stats.
Hit me.
As a part of the base stat, tackles runs, negative tackles go into that as well. So if he misses 12 a game, well, the base comes roaring down as well.
I'm just backing my guy in, not being an asshole like you.
Only to you.
Okay, next man, one that I'm very interested. I've had him in my team all preseason. I'm still very interested. Obviously got the calf injury at the moment. Dual position, Cody Walker, 5'59". I am an absolute sucker for a Wayne Bennett narrative, Timbo. So I'm very interested. Calf injury is concerning. What are your thoughts?
I was very interested until the calf injury, especially when you add on that he's, 35 years old.
Well, especially just with calf injuries, like they've taken down some of the greatest athletes of all time. As you know, at the golf day, I did mine. I'm only just recovering, guys. So it's taken down better men, heaps better men.
How has the rehab process gone for you?
It's been slow, like most things in my life, slow.
How'd you do it? Was it a drive? Was it a chip? Were you putting?
No, I was walking up a hill that was potentially 40 centimetres high. So, yeah, it was tough. It was embarrassing. I was with 3 other guys who were all over the age of 50 who, yeah, look, it wasn't a proud moment for me. I didn't enjoy it.
A hill that's 40 centimetres high is a step. It's like 2 steps.
It was a slanted step. It's a slanted step of grass. It's probably fair to say. I don't know why I was rushing to 4-putt, but I was apparently. And yeah, the old baby cow. See you later. Thanks for coming. The Lukey Metcalf.
Can I quickly shout out because the Jack broadcast happened over the weekend. The edit that they did of your shot was brilliant.
Did you get to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good.
That was very good.
Little Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, your little Happy Gilmore moment. Love it.
All right, enough fuckery. Cody Walker, calves, talk to me.
Yeah, 57 last year, end in 2022. In 2023, it was 69. I just look at last year and go, the Bunnies were trash. Latrell missed a lot of games. They had injuries to their entire team. Even a 35-year-old Cody is better than that, as are the Bunnies. Yep. I think they have a big year under Bennett. I can't start with him with a calf injury. And I almost be certain that he won't play any trials. He would go inside unseen. It's not a gamble I'm willing to take in round one.
Yeah.
You?
Very fair. It's a gamble I will consider taking. But that's just the reality of this 5'8" position. It's fucked. It's so rank. I don't know.
I think you're taking a gamble on whoever you pick, except for the bloke we mentioned before, and that's Dylan Brown, who's Mr. Consistent, but he's also one of the most expensive.
Yes.
For obvious reason.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep going down this list. You tell me. I'm not going Wishart, Trindle. I'm sure we're not interested.
Wishy will have his time.
He'll have his time.
His time is not now.
It's not right now. KO Weeks at fullback, 530k. Brooksy, 529.
Mate, there's a lot of KO Weeks love out there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, people are just looking at a troublesome 5'8" position. You got KO Weeks who he looks great, lightning quick, and you can get a fullback at 5'8". I don't mind it. Like, where is he last year? I don't have him in front of me, but his numbers at fullback, they were only okay. Scores, 53, 42, 41, 56. I think he'll take a lot from last year. I think he'll be a lot better. I don't mind it.
I will be completely honest with you. I have given KO Weeks no thoughts whatsoever. So when he moved to fullback last year, back into the season, scores of 53, 42, 41, 56, 89, 30 and 34. Yeah, it's a no bueno from me. But if you think he's got a bit of upside, I've got no idea what the Raiders draw looks like for the start of the season.
They go Warriors in Vegas, Broncos in Canberra, Manly, Cowboys in Townsville, Sharks in Canberra, Eels, Titans, Dolphins. The draw's pretty bloody good. I will not start with him, I don't think. Well, I won't. But I can easily see people scrambling for him for round 3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, want to keep an eye on. Brooksy, any interest there? 530k?
No.
No. Okay. Luke Metcalf, one of the bigger takeaways from the weekend, 443K available at 5'8". I think there's every chance he starts halfback in Vegas. Means he'll probably get dual come round 6. Goal kick the other day. Tanner Boyd is at the club. He's the only guy I could see taking the goal kicking off him. I thought Metcalf looked good. I thought that he got plenty of touches. I saw, people online complaining, he got tackled a few times. Mate, I'd rather my halfback just fucking take the tackle than try and overplay his hand. I'm sort of okay with that. He is a little bit of an unorthodox 7. It's not the first one we've seen. I don't think it's all going to go smoothly. I love there was a play in that game the other night, mate, where Tomato Martin got it at first receiver and Luke Metcalf wrapped around the back of him, almost in like a fullback sort of. I think he's just going to be a bit of a hybrid halfback, similar to what Hynes sort of was over the last few years. I'm interested in Luke Metcalf. I think he looks good. My biggest concern was their long kicking game. Luke Metcalf did a stutter step and hit a 40-20 with one of his first kicks the other night. A lot of positives there. Talk to me about Metcalf.
Funny how quickly the preseason unfolds, because our first episode of the year in mid-Jan, we went through the most owned players and we got to Metcalf at pretty high ownership. We just went, no, not interested. But then just the more research you do as time goes on throughout the preseason, you see he news out of the club, etc. It was about 2 weeks later. I was like, shit, I think I'm going to be starting with Metcalf.
Yep.
And plenty of reasons why. He averaged 50 points last year per game. He's priced on a 45-point average, so he got that reduction having only played limited games due to injury. Pardon me. You take out his injury-impacted game. He actually averaged 58.3 last year in 6 games. What else we got here in the old stats? He goal kicked in 3 of the 6 fixtures. One of those included just 1 conversion from 2 attempts. I think that might have been against Penrith or someone. So, yeah, it's basically for me, if he starts with Tamari Martin and goal kicks, he's locked into my team. If he starts with Tanner Boyd and Boyd goal kicks, I'm less keen, but still interested. That's going to be the question.
If that happens and Tanner Boyd's in the side and he's goal kicking, he's at 329.
I know.
That opens up a new bag of worms.
It does. Tanner's, his numbers weren't great last year, regards 8 80-minute games for the Titans. He averaged 36.87 with the addition of goal kicking in enough of those games. But at that price, as a goal-kicking halfback, it looks enticing. But, yeah, I think Luke Metcalf will be in there, probably with Tamari Martin. I'm thinking it'll go that way at least to start the season. It could change very quickly. I do think that priced on that 45-point average, I think even if he doesn't goal kick, I still don't mind Luke Metcalf.
So even if he doesn't goal kick, you're still interested?
I'm interested, but a lot more hesitant. If he's goal kicking, I'm in. He's in.
I think to the point you made before as well, had this Tom Duffy thing not popped up, we didn't have a whole heap of cash. I think Luke Metcalf at 440K, I don't think he averages above 55 if he's not goal kicking at the Warriors. So I don't know. I don't see a heap of upside there if he doesn't have the goal kicking. But, if we've got that little bit of coin to play with and he is the best option.
He's just, he's a bloody good ball runner. He's lightning quick. His support play is really good. So, I don't know. I could see him, not necessarily early in the year because, again, defences will be tighter. I do think the Warriors with new combinations, their attack could be quite clunky.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the year, if he stays fit, he can average 60 plus. Early on in the year, maybe it's close to 50 to 55. But to be honest, if I start with him in round 1 based on a 45 average and he averages 50 to 55, that's doing a job for me.
So what does he go? He goes Raiders in Vegas, Manly, Roosters, Tigers, bye, Storm. Yeah, okay. It's not easy. This 5'8" spot, mate. I cannot wait to see who we actually end up with. Imagine us sitting at the bar in Vegas still trying to work out our 5'8" spot, chopping and changing a million guys.
I'll be making a case for Ethan Strange by then.
Oh, no, you will. 100%.
Why are you acting like that's not something that you've done already?
Oh, yeah, I did it last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just on my own. That was fine.
Talking to a wall, talking to a mirror.
Mate, anyone else on that list? Got Will Price there. I'd love to see him get a gig, and if he does, it could change things very quickly. But he's a ball player, so he probably won't get a ball playing spot at Newcastle. Outside of that,
I don't mind a goal kicking Adam Dewey. He's dual 5'8", CT dub.
Okay.
Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but it is what it is. I want to see the preseason. I want to see the Tigers. I want to see how Dewey looks. He's had all these injuries. If he looks fully fit, he's a big boy. He's strong. I think he'll score tries.
Off contract,
Goal
something
kicking
prove.
off contract. I said dual position.
Been seeing Dewey around a lot. We live very close to each other. Talk on the town. Is it around town or talk on
It's
the
sure
town?
as fuck not on the town. I'll give you the hot tip about that.
Could be talk around town or the
Talk
talk
around
of the
town.
town.
Talk of the town.
Whichever way you want to go, Kat.
There's actually no town, guys. I hate to break it to you. Anyway,
We're not in a
but,
town.
Very keen on the return, of course.
Yes.
I think he's going to play very well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he goes. Do you think he does goal kick?
I think so. Appy was solid. He doesn't. I mean, the issue here is Appy doesn't play round one, so Dewey could kick round one, and then Appy could get the duties in round two.
Oh, Christ.
Well,
Why does this shit happen to us?
Kat's bloody neighbours with him, so she'll find out.
Yeah. Let us know how it goes inside the town or around the town or on the town or whatever that might be.
Anyway, he's on my watch list.
Watch list, yeah, okay. Mate, anyone else on that list? No one's really jumping out at me. Latu, Fino, no. Pizzette, no. Yeah, I think that's us done and dusted.
I think so.
How good. All right, guys. Next week, brace yourself.
Strap in.
Good God. So next week, we are going to do CTW and 2RF. So
And why are we doing this, Roo?
why are we doing this? Because the week after, you're going to be in Vegas.
We're going to be in Vegas, Roo.
We're going to be in Vegas. Sorry,
and we just
yes,
want to
yes,
be all
yes.
systems go. We don't want to be sitting in a room in Vegas crunching Coors Light or whatever they are over there and talking about positions. We want to be talking about teams and what we're doing and just all the good shit by then, don't we?
Yeah, it's a very good shout. So we'll be knocking out positionals next week, CTW and 2RF, which will be a big episode, so brace yourself for that. And then next time you see us from a beers and break-evens perspective, we will probably be sitting in a penthouse at the Bellagio or something. Your shout, I believe.
Please.
I hope so, because I made the booking, Timmy.
Yeah.
It was your card.
I'll bring the Coors Light, unless I can smuggle over tins of bloke, in which case we'll be on bloke.
We're on. We will be in Vegas for our episode. That episode, guys, will probably drop on Thursday, maybe. But
We'll touch on it next week, but due to flights and time zones and all that sort of stuff, it'll be, I think, Thursday that week, a day later.
Yeah, so you'll be right. The games don't start until Sunday Australian time anyway, so
Heaps
you've got
time.
plenty of days to consume it. There'll be plenty of other content coming out from Vegas and whatnot.
Heaps of time to not listen to us.
Yeah, you'll be right. You'll work it out. We'll talk about the team lists for Vegas over there on that show, and then we'll probably also do a little bit of a team reveal kind of situation. Talk about our problems or whatever.
Be wide open,
whatever that might be. Very exciting. Kanguru Hats, the link is in the description. You got 24 hours till they will be sent out for Vegas. We've got the Roo Crew SuperCoach group. That'll be opening on Sunday night. You will need to be in the Roo Crew to get access to it. $10 entry. All those bickies back to you. SC Playbook came out last night. How did we go?
I was excellent.
I have no doubt.
I was at my best.
Always.
I reckon. Not as good as the Spy, but I'm just banging on it, having been a good show.
Yeah, it's good gear. He's about to record it, so you probably work that out. Thank you guys for joining us once again here on Beers and Break-Evens. We will see you. Now we have also got...
Yeah.
Kat, take us away. What have we got?
I was waving you down. We also have, we have the Sport Shed TV charity match this Sunday. I just wanted to remind everyone of that. So we'll pop a link in the description as well where you can get a ticket to either attend or watch live. But we've got something else for you, Timmy.
Yeah, we have got a little something for Timmy.
Yep.
So this is a little something that we are looking at this year. Tim actually doesn't know this is coming. Can you walk it around to him? Sorry.
I'm going to walk it around.
Tim doesn't know that this is coming. This is something that we're going to be doing over the next few weeks. So stay tuned. A Beers and Break-Evens first. Timmy, let's open it up, see what you have got.
Oh my dear, holy shite. The Stallions jersey.
The Stallions
Make sure you hold it
jersey.
up a bit.
Oh my word. That is so cool.
So he's just been unpacking this, by the way.
Boom. I did not know. I designed it, but I did not know. Things had gone quiet for a while. The mighty blue of the Stallions.
So
that is sick.
Timmy's got his there. This is one that I had made for me last year, Grizzlies jersey. I've had a redesign. which I'll have for you guys over the next few weeks. But we're actually going to be selling these in a few weeks' time. So we're planning on taking some to Vegas, do a couple of photo shoots at Allegiant Stadium and whatnot, which will be good fun. And then what we're going to do, guys, we're going to sell these probably round 2 or round 3, I'd say. There's going to be 100 of each. And if you have a look at the back of Timmy's, it says 1 of 100. So there'll be 100 available of Grizzlies jerseys and Stallions jerseys. And you'll get to pick which number is yours. And you'll have to be quickly because they will start to sell out on the website. So
how good are the collars?
Very exciting, yeah. Shout out to Vortex, the boys. They have been fantastic to us. They've been unreal. They're obviously making the jerseys for the Sports Shed charity match that's on this weekend as well. So doing great things. If you are out there and you need, kits for your Oztag team, your soccer team, or you're involved with any sort of club or any sort of establishment whatsoever that wants uniforms, reach out to the boys. They've been in here a few times in the studio. I just love these two. They are goers.
Oh, they are. They're so young. They're in their early 20s and they have just taken this whole brand, this whole project by the reins, and they're just absolutely killing it. So if you do have any uniforms that you want to buy, if you want to get anything custom printed, I've even talked to them about getting patches made before and stuff. They can do anything and everything, and they've absolutely come through on these 2 jerseys. So I'm very excited for people to be able to get their hands on them soon.
So easy to deal with as well. Like if you're like 99% of the population and you don't like logistics, there is none. They do it for you.
They do everything.
So make sure you reach out to the boys. They've been fantastic to us, and we will have these jerseys coming over the next few weeks. So put some of your bickies away. There will only be 100 of each. And we sort of might try and do this each year with a new jersey design and whatnot. But very, very exciting. Sports Shed charity match on Sunday, Kat.
Yep, it's on Sunday. So I will pop all the info in the description for the Sports Shed TV charity match so you can have a look at what's going on with that. I'll also put Vortex in there so you can check out their socials. And, of course, we'll let you know when those go on sale as well. But heaps of exciting stuff going on, guys.
So much exciting stuff with the charity match, guys. Keep an eye on socials. I'll be sharing a lot of stuff. There'll be links there if you want to watch it on the day or come out there. Everything's going on. So very, very exciting. Are we done? Final call. We're
That's
done.
the final call.
Done.
Okay. Pleasure as always, guys. We'll see you next week on Beers and Breakevens.